I have a very strong memory from the age 19. That was my very first time in Paris, and it was a beautiful chilly autumn. I had a great wish to understand more about Debussy and his music. So I had a walk to the cemetery Père Lachaise where Debussy was buried. I put on some music, my earphones, first of all the Debussy Premiere Rhapsody and some other piano pieces, and I was waiting to feel nothing. Absolutely, I didn't feel anything. You know, I thought like being in the city where he lived, where he rests, maybe I can feel his music or something. But I realized if you really want to understand his music, you don't have to be in a specific place. Just go to any place, go to a park, go to nature, breathe the air, listen the wind. Just go and watch the sea, watch how the sun comes up behind it. His music is in everything. He had such a great sense to describe our physical world just with music. People say that he was the first impressionist composer, but actually he really rejected that title. And it's true, he was much more getting inspiration from literature and nature than from paintings, especially from literature. He loved French poetry, especially he really liked the poems of Mallarmé and Baudelaire. He really loved symbolism, and in fact, he was also making poems what he used for his own songs. We can truly say that Debussy created the French classical music. Without him, there would be no Ravel or Boulez or Messiaen. How he used chromatics, chromatic harmony changes, whole tone scales, he really revolutionized how the classical music uses tonality and everything. My name is Kohán, and you are watching the Clarinet Anthology. Let's start. In 1909, Gabriel Fauré was the director of the Paris Conservatoire. He named Debussy to its board of directors, Le Conseil Supérieur. You know, just anything you say in French, it just sounds fancy. Papier toilette.
It's like wiping your ass with silk. I love it.
So Debussy got his new fancy position, and his very first task was to compose 2 new pieces for the clarinet exam. Just let me show how this happens in real life, okay? Claude! Yes, Gabriel? We had a discussion with the guys in the director's team, and we want you on board. Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I'm just so honored to hear that. Will be my salary raised? No. Okay, so will I get my own office? No. Maybe an own classroom? No. But we have these tickets. You can get 50% discount in the cafeteria. Okay, cool. So what will I do? Yeah, that one. Actually, we have a very, very important duty for you. You have to compose 2 new pieces for the upcoming clarinet exam. Absolutely, I can do that. But you know, as I'm a professional composer, I will get paid by that, right? Oh, no. But even 100 years later, some stupid clarinetist guy will make a YouTube video about this. Okay guys, I'm half joking, half not. I want to give something more with these videos, and I want to make this very clear that that person who has a fancy position is absolutely not any better than a person who has no fancy academic or orchestra position. I know many great musicians who has no any position, and they are great people, fantastic musicians, real role models. Today, people much more care about who talks rather than what they are talking about. Once Buddha said that what matters is the teaching, not the teacher. So before we go deeper in the piece, let me summarize what happened in 1910 when Debussy finished the first Rhapsody. The first public radio broadcast takes place. Live performances of the operas Cavalleria Rusticana and Pagliacci are sent out over the airwaves from the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. Slavery in China, which has existed since the Shang dynasty, is now made illegal. The Shang dynasty were ruling China already from the 16th century BC. This means they broke a more than 3,000-year-old tradition. For good. The first filmed version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein comes out. The first Zeppelin commercial flight with passengers from Friedrichshafen to Düsseldorf in Germany. The flight takes 9 hours. Stravinsky's The Firebird Ballet is premiered in Paris, what made him an internationally recognized composer. The outbreak of the Manchurian plague in China what killed more than 60,000 people. This even highlighted the importance of setting up international medical associations, just like the World Health Organization. There are many parallel things how people reacted and controlled this and the COVID-19. The first air flight for the purpose of delivering commercial flight takes place in the United States. The flight made by Philip Parmalee, who worked for the Wright Brothers Company. He was literally one of the first airplane pilots in the world. People born in 1910. Django Reinhardt, famous jazz guitarist. If you know who is Robbie Lakatos, Django was one of his biggest inspiration for everything what he does. Akira Kurosawa, Japanese movie director. If you are into cinematography, Kurosawa is one of the basic legend for the 20th century, and even today there is so many things what we can learn what techniques he used for controlling emotions in motion picture. Artie Shaw, jazz clarinetist. Yeah, I don't really think, if you are watching this, you know who is Artie Shaw. Jacques-Yves Cousteau, oceanographer. Rudolf Kempe, German conductor. Mother Teresa. Back to Debussy. Debussy had a pretty interesting life. I don't really try to go through the whole thing. This more supposed to be something like an essence of what kind of things made him the composer genius. And maybe we can learn something from that. He born into a non-musician family. His father was an entrepreneur and his mother was a seamstress. Even he didn't born into a musical environment and he had such a chaotic childhood, he could grow into that composer who became one of the most significant composers of the 19th and the 20th century. The point is, whatever environment you born into, it never determines what you can be in the future. First of all, he was studying piano, and actually he made quite an effort to be able to be a great pianist, but quite soon he realized that that's not where his talent lies. He could realize quite soon that composing is what he should do, and absolutely he fulfilled it. Once he went to play a concert in Hungary, and one of the critics said that with his little fat fingers he can't really produce sound. But anyway, his compositions are really great. Yeah, he was not always lucky with critics. Once, after they premiered The Afternoon of a Faun, one of the critics said that, oh my, the Faun had such a horrible afternoon. We always have to keep in mind, just because of what you express, people cannot understand, it does not mean that you are doing anything bad. A very interesting parallel, when Bartók went to Paris and his hosts wanted to introduce him to the actual superstar of the musical world of Paris, who was Widor that time. He was the composer superstar that time, and Bartók insisted that he doesn't want to meet Widor, he wants to meet Debussy. And you know, also Bartók in his time was not really well understood, but how he turned out, we can say that he is the father of the jazz and I don't say the whole 20th century, but he was such an important composer of the 20th century. It could literally take hours, if not days, to talk about Debussy because he was such a great character, but let's talk about what we are here for, the Premier Rhapsody. Actually, this piece was composed together with the petit piece, what was the short piece for the clarinet exam, as a sight reading piece. Later, in 1911, Debussy himself, he transcribed the Premier Rhapsody for clarinet solo and orchestra. Oh yes, this guy was me. Actually, deep inside, this guy is still in me. I'm always thinking about which one I like more, the orchestra or the piano, but actually the piano somehow is much more intimate for me. Even this was composed for a clarinet exam, but very soon people realized that this is a real masterpiece and they started to treat it as it should be, as a great colorful concert piece, but still it's very challenging in ways of breath control, intonation, and to keep a very light and crispy technical texture. The whole piece actually using 4 motifs at all. It's always from surge and second steps, and it's very simple. That's why basically you can never notice that it's so simple, because it's so brilliant. This is the main motive, and very often this comes in some variation or in inverse or something. Sometimes he uses an extra semitone like so such kind of places. It's always varying. I really like that already the very first piano he says do ed espressive, dolce and espressivo. So you know, even if this is supposed to be a very light and subtle, silent something, he still wants to express some heavy, sweet air. Something like that. I always like how Debussy makes you feel the musical material kind of physical, like a roller coaster. It's very hard to get back the little nuances through this microphone. Actually, one harmonic thing in Debussy's music, he loved the tritone. Tritone, you know, it's this interval. First of all, this naturally comes from the whole tone scale. And he loved whole tone scale. So, for example, how this comes here, we have a tonality here to F. So we are fooling around the note F. And to like a kind of twist, he gives this harmony from the tonality of F and switches to Cs. Yes, C flat, Cs, whatever language we use. Actually, there was a time when tritone was banned. You couldn't use it because people thought it's a devilish interval, because it's very unstable, it's very out of harmony. If you want a taste how Debussy switches harmonies chromatically, and here he switches the same motive a semitone higher. I love it. The beginning where the real melody starts, doux et pénétrant, sweet and penetrant. Even if it's a pianissimo, it's supposed to be less than the beginning, but there's something like a very intense smell or something. Full with colors and everything. It's beautiful. It's all the time so meditative at the beginning, but suddenly it opens into another motif. This motif comes back all the time. Maybe here is the most visible how he uses the whole tone scale. He always uses the whole tone scale as some kind of dreamy color. And again we find some tritone. Actually, this comes back also at the end. Here comes the scherzo with quite a new motif. This is really super playful, how he starts with the little cues, piano starts, then you enter, but nothing really happens. It's like when kids start to play and still they try to figure out how far they can go. Pretty far. Debussy requires really sudden and crazy dynamic changes. Like in one note you have to change from an ascending crescendo to back to some quasi subito piano. It's crazy, but it's really nice music. If you are not a clarinetist and you want to know which phrase of the music history wrote for clarinet we are the most worried about, is this. You know, it's not like a mission impossible, you can do it, but it's such stress to play this in a concert. Somehow it happens, you can make it, but you get older like 3 years when you play this piece. Things are happening, we are going back to the main theme, but not anymore with the same accompaniment. Here it comes a note repeating like la do do, so this is like LUMIÈRE. Debussy also uses the same thing in LUMIÈRE. We are getting ahead, going and until you can't hold and go to anime. In this last finale part, he almost uses all of the techniques and motifs what he used before in this piece. Also, like, there is a motif what is coming from ascending chromatic line. Until this point, this was only in the piano, but now he puts also into the clarinet. And for a really impressive ending, he gives kind of the reverse of the beginning. Really thank you for watching this video. This is a very tough and long and expensive project. If you would like to support us to be able to continue this, we have a Patreon page, and please check it. We have down in the description, and if you can support us. We really highly appreciate it. Thank you for watching and being here. See you in the next video.